Carrie, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
I'm so happy we finally got to do this. I'm so excited. Seriously, I'm so thankful for having you here
Thank you for
today with
having
us.
me.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And I was giving a little bit of information out before you connected. I was telling the audience that you were earlier this year at the FDA hearing, which to me was very inspiring because that was around March, right? April.
Yes, it was the end of
And
March.
yeah, and I was about to have my explant surgery at the beginning of April. So I was following all the news very close because I knew this was going to be huge for me and I'm first of all, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time because I know you're a mom, you're busy, and I know how difficult it is. So, but this time is for you. We want to know about you. We want to know what happened to you, and how did you get to go to the FDA and share your story? Because I know it was very shocking to everybody, and of course you've been around all these ladies from the breast implant illness group and can give us more in-depth information. So thank you, everybody. I want to say hi to all these people connecting really quick. Hello, Luisa. Hello, Vero. So everybody who is in, thank you so much, because what we really want before we start is the purpose of this life is to create awareness about, first of all, breast implants and the risk that women who have them and are not presenting any illnesses, the risk that they have of developing certain issues, and just create consciousness about being alert on like about all these things that can happen. Second of all, for those people who are having symptoms, to be supported and know that there are people who have been there, done that. And third of all is create a different mindset among women, because I feel some of us are here because of irresponsible decisions, being immature, and lacking a lot of self-esteem. So Carrie, now I'll pass it on to you. Please let us know, how did you first start having your symptoms? How far after you had your surgery? And what were those first symptoms that you presented?
Okay, so I had my surgery back in 2009, and I started having slow oncoming, like gradual symptoms by about 2012. And the first
Okay.
symptoms that showed up were anxiety, um, some fatigue, not horrible fatigue yet, but some. I started getting frequent UTIs, frequent yeast infections. My hair started thinning behind my ear, but nothing that I didn't think was like, oh, I'm aging.
Yeah.
So it seems normal. It's not my whole head. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
You're like, it's okay. It's like,
it
I
was
can
a
still hide
tiny
it.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, and then a lot of digestive issues. I was nauseated for about 3 years straight, and I had no idea why. Doctors couldn't tell me why. So those were my first symptoms. Nothing that I didn't blow off to either stress, because I had 2 kids and 2 jobs, and I was a single
Wow.
mom,
Yeah.
and a kind of difficult, abusive kid's dad that I had to deal with. So it was like, I thought it was all
Yeah.
stress and aging related. By
Which makes sense.
2015,
You
yeah,
tend to relate those things, and doctors, that's the first thing that they're going to relate to.
exactly. And no, at that time, like BII wasn't out and talked about, and obviously your doctors are not going to say it's your implant. So I thought it was all stress and aging. By 2015, I started having a lot of severe fatigue where I was struggling to get out of bed. I would take my son to school in the morning, come home, and sleep all day until I had to pick him up, because I work nights.
Oh,
So
wow.
I would just sleep all day until I had to go pick up my son from school. And I just thought it was depression related, because I started having some depression at that time too. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm depressed and people who are depressed sleep a lot, so that must be what it is. By the time around 2017, I started having muscle joint pain, brain fog, breast pain, and that's when I knew something was wrong. I knew that a 32-year-old shouldn't be feeling like, you know, her body's falling apart already.
No,
so
not at all.
I had just this light bulb moment that said something about Google silicone toxicity. And while I didn't find anything about BII because that wasn't really out there yet, I did find a website that talked about symptoms of being poisoned by silicone. And a lot of them really matched up. And so I messaged a friend who had implants, and she told me, I don't know anything about that, but you might want to talk to this other friend because she's having problems. And she's the one who sent me to Nicole's page and told me about all her problems and how she was explanting. And at that point, you know, I wasn't debilitatingly sick yet. And so I was kind of in denial. I was like, I don't want to remove them. I don't want to go back to being flat-chested. Like, I'm not dying sick like I see a lot of these women are. Like, that's not going to happen to me. You know, all the typical, just trying to avoid it, not trying to come to terms with what's happening to my body. And I made the decision to go talk to my original plastic surgeon, who obviously reassured me, oh, you're fine. You know, everything's fine. It's not your implants. And so I made the choice to listen to her and believe what she had to say, because I was in denial. And I waited 6 months. And by the end of the 6 months, not only was I getting worse, I was catching flus that led to bronchitis, where I was sick for a whole month. And at that point, I was like, my body's tired, my body's weak, it can't fight illness anymore, I have to explant. Like, I have to come to terms with what's happening. I need to learn how to love myself the way I am, because if I had just learned this back when I was 24, I wouldn't be in the predicament that I'm in right now. So I came to terms with it, and I scheduled my explant with Dr. Chen. And at that point, he was booked out 6 months, and consultation was 2 months. So it took 8 months from the time I made the conscious decision to explant till I actually explanted. And in that 8 months, I became one of those women that was debilitatingly sick and couldn't get out of bed. I was diagnosed hypothyroid. I lost half of my hair. My cholesterol spiked. I had Raynaud's syndrome. I had rashes all over my face. And along with a slew of about 50 other symptoms of muscle joint pain, costochondritis, bladder pain, back pain, the list went on and on and on. And my anxiety and paranoia and panic attacks became so severe that I was contemplating suicide, because I didn't want to live like this anymore if this was how I was going to live. And
I believe you.
You know, and people don't realize, you know, you think you have minor symptoms, or you think this and that, and exactly the way I felt. I understand how these women are like, well, I'm not debilitatingly sick, I'm not that sick yet. But you don't realize that the longer you let it go, you eventually are going to become that sick. I mean, I sat in denial for a while, and I could have avoided so many issues if I just would have came to terms that it was my implants when I first learned about it.
Yeah, Carrie, the story that you're telling is not your only story. I mean, it's not just Carrie, it's not just Carla, it's thousands of women. And this is what is so alarming and concerning, that people are not realizing what's going on. And I think it's so important to explain the symptoms, because when we post and we say, oh, these are the symptoms for breast implant illness, people say, oh, but that's too wide. Yeah, it's too wide, because your body is an inflammatory response on the inside that sometimes is not even caught up in blood. I mean, you were lucky to know that you had hypo or hyperthyroidism.
Hypothyroid.
Which one
you
had?
Hypo.
Hypo. that you had cholesterol, that you had so many things going on, and they came out in your blood. But so many people don't have anything coming out in their blood. Like, for example, to me, in my case, I spent 8 years doing blood work. I mean, I have like a pack like this of blood work. I can show it to you. And nothing was coming out. Everything was normal. So then I start going to centers that they will tell you, well, you know what happens is that women have issues with their thyroids, but they don't show it in their blood. So we're going to just give you medication because you have the symptoms. So I was like, okay, but that doesn't make any sense. So, and every woman is different. You have all these type of debilitating symptoms, and you blew off. Like, it took you like 3 years.
From the time I found out about BII, it was 6 months after that, and then 8 months explanted. So a year
to get
and 2
really,
months.
really bad, to feeling to the point that you couldn't handle it anymore.
But so from the beginning, it was 9 years since I implanted. Was by the time when I got really sick.
So when you first started feeling the fatigue and the anxiety, because you know what is really interesting here, and I want to point this out in people who are joining us, those were my first symptoms: anxiety and then fatigue, because it started altering my sleep. I used to be super active, going to the gym every single day of my life. And what I noticed was that the fatigue and like a mode of like lacking interest of going to exercise. And then I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Yes, but it changes. It turns you in from like a vibrant, outgoing person to an introverted, shut-in, sick, like you don't want to be around anyone. It just changes you completely.
Yeah. And I want to emphasize that, like, your mood is like, you are a complete different person.
Yes.
You go from a super normal person, and then you become like a depressive person that people tell you you're depressed. Yes, you are. Of course you are, because your brain is just going like nuts, because I think it's the nervous system is affected. I was diagnosed by this doctor with autonomic dysfunction, which is pretty much your whole body nervous system is just going boom, boom, boom all over the place.
So it's the neurotoxins that are leaching into your body, and the heavy metals.
Okay.
That's what's causing it.
Do you think it was ever caught in my blood? Ever. The only exam that I had positive was at the end, and it was IgGs for 6 types of molds, including the candida, and Epstein-Barr virus going all over my body. And like, I was like, what is this? So that's when and this was this year, I started with issues in 2010 exactly. And the first issues I started with anxiety in 2009. I remember I was studying. I used to study, sit, and be able to finish studying. And then there was a point, my last semester, my grades were like, I was coming with my GPA was 4. And then my last semester, I couldn't. I was like, I couldn't concentrate. I was anxious. I was like hyper. I don't know. And then I went from being a super social person, like I would do a party every single weekend in my house. I was so happy all the time, to be like in the darkness. And I completely understand you. And the years go by, and the worse you start feeling. And this is the thing, we are so focused on our physical body that we don't realize that something in the health might be going on parallel. And then we start, okay, I'm going to just try this new diet. Okay, I'm just going to try this new supplement. Oh, but I'm going to ask you something, Carrie. Inside your heart, when you first started feeling bad, did you ever have that little voice telling you, check your breast implants? Did you ever think, it could be my breast implants?
Not until that light bulb moment at the 7 to 8 year mark when I Googled the silicone. It took 7 to 8 years before some light bulb went off in my head.
Okay, got you.
So,
yeah, it makes sense. For some women, they just don't understand what's going on. And somehow we don't understand, but then we start understanding, and we go into that denial phase that you're saying. that can last until you're dying, that until you're literally dying and you're feeling like, I can't cope with this anymore. I mean, I had one night past December a suicidal thought that I was like, I can't believe I'm thinking like this.
Same.
You know, I can't believe I'm saying I don't want to live like this when when you see so many people fighting for their life with wars, illnesses, but the thing is that when you don't know what's going on with you, it's even worse because you don't know, and you go to doctor after doctor and they don't tell you. They give you medications that don't fix the problem. So you start feeling worse. So Carrie, yeah, go ahead.
I had a night like that too, where usually when I would have panic attacks, my boyfriend would calm me down and, get me to think rationally again. But one night I went into a panic attack and he was at work and I was here with my kids and I laid on my bed and I just tried to calm down, but my head was pounding, my heart was racing, and all I could think about was, I don't want to live like this anymore. Yeah. So I started Googling what I could overdose on because I couldn't live like this anymore.
Yeah.
And at that moment, my daughter walked in. She was 8 at the time. She walked in and she didn't say anything. She just walked over and laid on top of me. And I sat there and I thought, I'm being selfish because this little girl would absolutely fall apart if I died. Like, I had to sit there and think about, it's not about me. It's not about how I'm feeling. There's other people around me that would literally just fall apart if I wasn't here. And you have to think about like other things to push you through and get you through, because there was so many times that I felt like I just wanted to die because I wasn't in my right mind. For the last 3 months, I want to say, before I explanted, I was not in my right mind at all. Yeah. I even went into this phase where I thought every mole on my body was melanoma while I was waiting for a dermatologist appointment for the one mole that I needed to have removed. I was convinced every mole on my body was melanoma, and I went into a panic attack and I dug a mole out of my arm with the tweezers. That's how out of my mind I was. I was not.
Yeah.
I wasn't me. I don't know who I was. I have no idea where Carrie went and who was there for that last 3 months before explant.
I believe you. I believe you. And I want to see some of the comments here. Clarice is telling us something that is really, it's true. The medication just silence what the body is trying to say. And this is very important, and Clarice, this is the key. Your body is going to speak when something's going on, and women tend not to listen to the body. We tend to kind of like be the strong woman that we are, and we're going to continue, and we don't pay attention until things are really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I know some people who have breast implants, and I have talked to them. They're already having issues with their immune system. They're already doing it, but the connection is not being made by the medical science. So what is really worrying to me is that science, medical doctors, not functional medicine doctors, I'm so thankful that ramification of the medicine is coming out, because that's going to be the healing of this world is going to be there. But so many women don't associate the symptoms. And from there, it's just start getting worse. I don't want to freak anybody else. Like, I don't want to freak people like, oh my God, I'm going to die. No. This is not, our purpose here is just to inform you what other women have gone through so you can prevent going through that. If you have had, for example, your body have capsulated your breast implants 5 times already. You have gone through surgery 5 times already. But then maybe we need to start thinking in a different way, Carrie. Because what we do normally is just like, we're going to change the implants to another one. And this is so common, and we're not judging. We have done it in the past, and we will keep on doing it until we learn our lesson. But when the body speaks, the body is going to show you. And one of the first things that the body starts doing is to reject the implant by just creating the capsule. And then the capsule starts like squeezing that implant. And that's how, like, this is something very important. People think that the implant needs to be leaking in order to make you sick. No,
It's not true.
the implants don't need to be leaking, broken, or damaged to make you sick. The capsule that is created around the implant, and I want to say this because some people might not know, some people might know, the capsule around the implant is the one that is touching those plastic bags, and that is scar tissue formed around those things, and then your body in contact with the implant start absorbing, okay, what is outside those breast implants. Carrie, tell us what is outside those breast implants.
Okay, so, well, these are actually mine. They're completely intact. So you can see I was being poisoned regardless, and these are completely intact. So all the implants are made with neurotoxins, heavy metals, and known carcinogens. And at the FDA hearing, they discussed gel bleed, which is the microscopic bleed of the chemicals inside that come out even when they're not ruptured. So they acknowledged that these things happen, and they also acknowledged that the components of the implants are chemicals, and one of the FDA panelists even called it chemical soup. So they acknowledged that this is happening and this is a thing, and they acknowledged breast implant illness. They acknowledged that the capsule needs to be removed because a lot of surgeons will lie and tell you it doesn't.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit on that so people understand like what happens with the capsule and why it's so important to take it out of your body?
So the capsule has, as the implant is leaching, obviously, the capsule is going to be saturated with the toxins from the implant. It also has the ability that even if you take the implant out, the capsule can still grow the BIA-ALCL, the cancer, the breast implant associated anaplastic large cell lymphoma. So even if you take out your implant, you still have the capsule. You have that possibility that you can still get the cancer without the implant in there. You'll also continue to have symptoms because you still have the toxins and everything that are inside the capsule in your body. They don't dissolve, they don't reabsorb. I know a lot of doctors will lie and say that they do, but it's been proven time and time again where my surgeon that I went to, Dr. Chun, he has taken out leftover capsules from women that had their capsules left in 7 to 10 years ago, and they're still inside. One of the girls just had it done the other day. She had capsules left in from a year and a half ago, I think, and her doctor lied and said he left about 10%. He only took out 10%. There was almost a whole entire capsules left inside of her, and she persisted to have symptoms.
How did she realize it was inside? She touched it? Could she feel it?
She knew that he had told her he left some in, but it was way more than what he told her, and she persisted to have symptoms, so she chose to have them. She had exploratory surgery with Dr. Chun, and she chose to have them taken out, and he got all of them out. So regardless what the surgeons say, all capsules can always be completely removed. They'll try to tell you they don't have to be. They'll try to tell you they'll reabsorb. They'll try to tell you that it's too dangerous. All of these things mean they either can't do it properly or they just don't care.
They don't care.
Exactly. So it's extremely important.
Like 6 surgeons, and one of them told me, well, you know what? I asked him, would you remove the whole thing, like doing en bloc procedure with total capsulotomy? And he says, oh, well, you know what? Sometimes it's very dangerous because if I see that it's sticking to the rib, I won't go and cut you and, like cut through the ribs to take it out because it's not necessary for the patient. So I just said, okay, this is not the doctor I'm going to have my surgery with. I understand there are some risk because in this part of our chest, we have certain arteries that are very delicate and you cannot just come and cut, and it has to be very careful, the procedure. Some people are a little wider than others. So for doctors, it's easier to open up and take the whole thing out. Sometimes it's not like that. But the main purpose is like they cut you open and grab the whole thing, like the big ball that you have inside, and take it out. And outside, once it's outside your body, they will cut the capsule and take the implant out. And what we do is that we ask for proof. We ask for pictures of the capsules with the implants inside once they are taken out of your body and then outside. That's part of what it is. And then you want to make sure you tell the surgeon ahead of time what you want and what you're expecting, and that you don't care whatever it is, that they need to get them out, because if you're presenting symptoms, that's the first thing you need to do. So many people get ill is from the actual capsule. It's not really the implant. It's the reaction.
I saw a girl the other day that made a post about how she didn't have any symptoms until she had the implant removed, but the capsules left in. And that's when she started having symptoms. So she had to have the capsule, go back in and have the capsules removed too. So you don't, it's extremely important to have the capsules removed. Like, you can't take what these doctors, some of these surgeons are saying as the truth, because they're either just not educated, or they can't do it properly, or they just don't care.
Yeah, most of them don't know how to do it. Most of them are not familiar with breast implant illness. Most of them don't really believe in it, but most of them are like, no, that's not an issue, that's not a problem. But there are doctors right now that all they're doing is explanting. And in Texas, in Houston, where I am, unfortunately, I think there is just like probably a couple. And thankfully, like in California, is a lot better. The amount of people doing this, capable of doing this. I know Dr. Shen is one of them.
Yeah.
And in Costa Rica, there is a doctor I follow that he's doing explanting, and he's doing a really good job.
Dr. Yerzola?
Yeah.
And then there's Dr. Fang, too, who doesn't implant anymore.
Yeah. And some of them have said we're not putting breast implants anymore because they are seeing what is going on. And of course, this is a money-making industry that is, some doctors, even though they have 100 patients ill, they won't stop putting to new patients the breast implants. And this is why we're doing this, because we need to create that awareness. Like, if you're a father or a mother and you have an 18-year-old asking you for breast implants for their 18th year-old anniversary, you gotta
or graduation present or whatever.
You gotta think about it and dig in there and do your research. And I'm a strong believer that from now on things are gonna change, because we are not the self-ignorant people we were in the past. We are tending to be more educated, and women are tending to be more informed and educated, and we're being more responsible about our health. And that's the key.
And the power of social media, because now we can inform people on our own without having to go to, we could still do like news stations and stuff, but we have the power to inform people on social media now, as opposed to back in the 90s when Dow was being sued. Yeah, it may have been on some talk shows, but they didn't have social media back then to get the word out to more and more women. So it wasn't as brought up as it is now. There was a girl that just asked, I'm sorry, I didn't see your name, but she asked what people said when they noticed that you look different. And there's something I want to bring up about that, because my doctor, before I explanted, my general practitioner, she didn't believe me, like, at all, typical. She's like, no, you need to see a psychiatrist. You have anxiety, you're depressed. She tried to put me on anxiety pills. Like, I said, no. She said, oh, you're hypothyroid. That's what's wrong with you. Just go see a psychiatrist and take these thyroid pills. I was like, no, I'm not. I didn't take the thyroid pills, and I did go see a psychiatrist one time, and actually he did believe me, which is funny because he took
Wow.
information.
It's
Yeah,
amazing because
he
they
he
don't. They
took
want to
the
put you
Facebook
medication.
information and gave it to someone he knew with implants, and I was like, thank you so much for believing me. But anyways,
Wow.
the first time I went to see my general practitioner, I had rashes all over my face. My skin was bone dry, like flaking. My face was puffy. My hair was half fallen out. I looked like a mess, and I probably sounded like a mess. And I went back to my general practitioner for blood work 4 months after my explant, and my thyroid came back fine. I wasn't hypo anymore, and my face had cleared up, and I looked and I sounded like a completely different person. And the first thing she said when she walked in was, "Oh, I guess your thyroid pills are working. You look so much better."
Correct.
And I was like, well, that's funny because I never took them. And she goes, "Oh," and I was like, "All I did was explant." And she was
Wow.
like, well, maybe it was your implants then.
Oh,
And I
I
was
thought she
like,
was going to say maybe it was all in your head. So you got the result once
no,
you take it out.
no. No, she finally said maybe it was your implants. And it was like this validation moment for me, like,
Yes.
thank you. Like,
Yeah, of course.
so
I have someone here saying that she had a surgeon in Dallas, and the name is Dr. Ray, who did an amazing job with en-bloc capsulectomy. So there you go. There's another person. Thank you, Movement Therapy, Jen, for sharing with us.
Oh.
And Carrie, I think San Roman, he wants to know, or she wants to know, if when you after you had the explant, what people said about you being flat chested without the breast. So people, first of all, I want to know from your point of view, how do you feel, how did you feel at the beginning after having your breast removed, your breast implants removed, and did anybody notice it or mention anything to you regarding your explant?
um personally, the first few weeks after explant, like, I didn't care. I didn't think about it. Like, it wasn't a big deal. I just was happy to, like, have them out. I did have one moment, 3 weeks post-op, where the first time I went to the store to look at bras, and I did have one breakdown where I was in the store and nothing was fitting. And plus, I probably shouldn't have been trying on bras at that point anyways, because I was only 3 weeks post-op and everything was uncomfortable and everything was still surgery looking, and it was a bad choice on my part.
Yeah, bad idea.
But I did it anyways. So I did come home, and that was when I had my breakdown for it. I cried. I just stared in the mirror and looked at my chest, and it was hard. It's hard to explain. It's just, I'm glad that they were gone, but it was hard to look at myself. And I cried for about an hour, and my boyfriend came home from work right at the end of my crying session. He's like, why are you crying? What's wrong? And I was like, oh, my chest, like, like, oh, God, I look like this. And he basically sat me down and was like, you are the same beautiful person that I fell in love with. Your chest size doesn't make any difference. I love you. I'll love you no matter what. And after he sat down and kind of calmed me down, I didn't cry about it. I'm 9 months post-op yesterday. I've not cared anymore. It's like I have found this newfound self-love that I should have found when I was 24. Like, I've learned that my body is, I don't need to please other people. Like, it's my body. It's working for me. I need to be healthy. Like, I've never focused so much on needing to be healthy as I have now. And that's what's important. The size of your chest is not what's sexy. Confidence is sexy. Looking healthy is sexy. Having a healthy glow, a healthy looking face. Having hair, because losing half of your hair was awful. For me, it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't care. It's not one way or the other. Yeah, sometimes I'll look at women and think like, wow, I wish I could fill out a shirt like that. But then I think to myself, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm
Yeah,
healthy. Like,
you just think about,
no.
oh my God, all the things I went through, and
Yes.
I'm perfect. You know, this is
No,
not
I'm
gonna. Yeah.
perfectly fine. But I haven't had anybody really say anything to me. I was very vocal about my journey. I had it all over Instagram. I had it all over my social media. I didn't have anybody negatively say nothing to me, really. I've had my Instagram account for almost a year now, and the only negative comment I've gotten on it was, "You need to clean your room." Like, that's it. Like,
You're like, thank you. Yes, I know I do,
yes.
but I don't have time.
Actually,
Whatever.
I've gotten a couple, more than a couple now, it's been a while. I've gotten quite a few messages from men telling me that my small boobs look awesome, or that health is better, or
That's cute.
like
I like that.
okay, like, thank you, I guess. Like, it makes me feel better about myself in a way.
Of course.
I mean, nobody cares, and the only people that care are shallow men who are probably insecure about themselves as well.
Yes, that's correct.
There's no need to stuff bags of chemicals in your chest to try to feel better about yourself. You can do self-improvement in so many other ways. You can grow as a human. You don't need to shove bags in your body that your immune system's going to freak out about, and it's not necessary, because the people who love you will love you for you. And if they don't, then that person's not meant to be with you.
Así, yes. Así es, like we would say in Spanish. Just better said, it's impossible. And I want to say hi to my friend Tiny Tower here, Tara Hopko. She's saying that self-love is the silver lining. Yeah, she's so right. If you think about it, like, I know people who have gone to get their breast implants because they had a breakup or they got divorced, and they go get liposuction, and then we're looking into the external to satisfy the internal. When I first got my breast implants and I was young, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was super young. When I'm telling you super young is super young. And when I first got them, I wasn't that obsessed with breast implants. But then I started getting more obsessed. It's like, oh my God, they are very tiny. I need them bigger. So it was like, and then I had like 2 other surgeries to make them, like, to change them. One, because I had them in front of the muscle, then I changed them behind the muscle. So every time I had the surgery, like the first time I changed them, I told the doctor, I want them big. And then when he put me a size that was going with my body, I got upset when I woke up from surgery. I said, is this all you're going to put me? And then I got more and more obsessed. And then the third time, I made sure I told him, please, I want them bigger. And he's like, I don't have a space to put them bigger. And now I'm so thankful I didn't go bigger, because it would have been catastrophic. Because I used to be a size A. I don't know what size you used to be before your breast implants.
Double A.
Yeah, like right in there. And then I went to a cup C. And
me too.
To me,
that was what I went to.
Yeah, it was like perfect for my body. But I was like, this doctor, he's an idiot. What in the world? And today I'm like, I'm so thankful he didn't put more, because the amount of skin that your body has to tread back in is so huge. But what you're saying is true. Nobody cares but us.
You. Yeah.
But you. Because
everyone is their own worst critic.
I mean, I go out and people don't even look at me. I mean, they are not telling me, oh, you don't have any breasts. People who know me, probably some people who are not discreet, and you see the type of people you have in your life, right? Some people will look at you in the face. Some people will look in your chest first and then your face. But then I just understand that these people are ignorant, and we need to feel, you know, that respect for people who don't understand this, right? Like, it's like a personal decision is very, very, but then you went back to what size on your cup, so people know. I
Um,
mean,
I am in between an A and a double A now. I have a tiny bit more tissue than I had before.
but you have something. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
have a little
great.
bit.
You have. I don't have that much. I think I'm like a triple A or something. I don't have a size. I think I'm just like super flat. Seriously. So I'm like, because I was so young, and this is the things we don't think when we do it. The less breast tissue you have, the less you're gonna have when you remove your breast implants, because your implants erode your own tissue, your
Yeah.
own fat. So plus I have lost so much weight from the same inflammation that my body continuously had, and I didn't know why. I became a health coach because I wanted to be healthier and help people be healthier. But I hadn't realized one of the things that was stopping my body to losing the weight I really wanted was just all the toxins I had
Yeah.
inside me. So with all the detoxing and all that, you start seeing it. So your breast is gonna be, you know what I mean? The thinner you are, you lose fat all over your
Yeah,
body. So,
definitely.
but the answer to the person who was asking us, like, how do you feel? What do you see? Do you feel better? Yeah, it's not easy for any women to get their breasts removed, especially if you've been with them for years. I mean, if you put them and in 3 months, in a year, you need to take them out, you're like, okay, it's no big deal. But your body is used to having these implants for so many years that is kind of a shock. Like when you're like, man, it's not. I cry like my surgery. What I planned my surgery like in 2 months in advance, and um and I cried for 2 months. I cry every single day. I would see myself in the mirror and say, I'm gonna have my breast in 2 months. And that was, it was bigger than my problem. That was my health problem. But then I started shifting my consciousness and doing daily exercises. So I'm thinking, this is not the way I want to think for me, for my daughter, for my family. I need to be
Yes,
healthy. And then
exactly.
I cry, like I cry and I cry and I cry and I cry and I cry so much that I couldn't cry more after. I mean, I was like so fed up with crying that it's like you really stop. I mean, it's like you get dried out on the inside.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't cry anymore. I mean, plus you start seeing that you definitely had some health issues coming from the breast implants. For some people, they resolve really quick. If you tend to have tendencies to develop autoimmune disorders and you have developed an autoimmune disorder, some people just heal it, but some people don't. And
Oh, yeah.
mold toxicity is something that you need to be aware of, because mold toxicity is super, I mean, it takes time to detox your body from that. And that's what I'm currently doing. So I have learned the procedures, the protocols to, clean the body. But once you have felt so bad, you go through this surgery and you see yourself like flat chested, the only thing you can do is say, thank you, God, because I'm feeling better. Every day I'm feeling better. Some days you have some drawbacks. Some days you feel worse than others, but still you are in this line in which you're coming up and then you go down a little bit, but you keep on going up, and then you come down a little bit and then you keep on going up. So that's the thing, the healing process. And for some people,
Is
it's
long.
so fast. For some people, it's long, and we need to be patient.
See, that's
The main
exactly
thing
what
is,
I always tell people. Explant isn't a miracle cure. It's the first step in healing your body in a healing journey. You're not just going to, you had toxins leaching into your body for years or however long you had them. And the longer you had them, you have more toxins leaching into your body. So after you remove the source, that doesn't automatically remove all the toxins that have leached into you.
yeah,
So women need to understand that once you do a proper explant, that you're going to go through waves of where your body is harshly detoxing more than others. So during those waves, you're going to feel worse. Symptoms can come
yeah,
back. Symptoms can
yeah,
extend longer. You can get
yeah,
new symptoms or random
yeah,
new things start happening. People need to understand that, because I talk to women on the daily that, oh, I have symptoms again. Why is this happening? I was feeling so much better. Well, because your body is starting to eliminate those toxins that
Yeah,
have
the
leached into you
hairs.
for so long. Yeah. And that
Yeah,
takes time. That can take a year to 2 years. Some women, if you have EBV, like you were talking about, if you have Lyme, if you're you have the MTHFR gene mutation,
yeah,
you have these things, that's going to take longer. It can take maybe 4 or 5 years. You don't know.
yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
something that's just going to
This is
resolve
real.
overnight. Yeah,
It's true.
it's
It's
not, it's a marathon, not a sprint, is what I'm looking for.
yeah,
It's not something that just goes away. Just because you removed the source doesn't mean you removed everything that the source put into your body
yeah.
for all
Just think
those
about
years.
this. When you get a cold, how long it takes your body to recover from a cold, like a severe cold, like a week or two to be fully healed. So
Yeah,
how long is going to take a body has been with 10 years, 20 years with a breast implant in? It's going to take time. You're going to help
time.
it with medications, and you're going to help it with detox protocols. You're going to help it with a strictly strict, super strict diet. Some people have not done detoxing programs after, some people have, but you have to help the body to heal. And as you say, if you have genetic predisposition for certain things, it's going to take you longer. So Lyme disease, EBV, like mold could take from 6 months to 5 years to heal.
Mold. Yeah, if you got an autoimmune disease, that's
Correct.
something else.
Yes.
Were you already going to end up with an autoimmune disease and the implants just brought it out faster? Did the implants actually cause an actual autoimmune disease? Like, those things aren't just going to go away right away either. It's going, even if they do, sometimes they don't even go away. It's just the symptoms get less severe.
Less severe.
If you were
Yeah.
already predisposed to getting it. Yeah. So,
Yes.
it's like I always tell people, it's not going to go away overnight. It's a process. You'll see things get better, and then you might see those things come back and get worse all over again. The
Yeah.
hair falling out, that's not something that's just going to go away right away. Hair takes
Yeah.
time to grow back in general. Much less when you start detoxing, hair will start falling out again, or hair falls out from
Yes.
anesthesia.
Yes.
It's not just going to stop as soon as you
Yeah.
explant,
Yeah.
it's a process, and
You gotta give your time to heal, your body time. It's just
yes.
unbelievable what happens after. Like, I mean, some people are really getting well like right away, but I don't think that's most of the case. People
That's not
like
the
would say
normal.
after like a year, okay, it's been a year, and now I'm feeling much better, and then I mean you start seeing improvements, right? Small improvements,
Yes,
where there are things that are
that's
gonna
true.
take you back, and then you start going forward again. So, but that doesn't necessarily like you cannot say, okay, then I stay with my breast implants because if I'm gonna be sick anyway, no, because if you stay with the breast implants, you're just gonna die.
Well,
If you have
your
symptoms,
symptoms
you're
are
just gonna get all over. I mean, it's gonna
your
get worse
symptoms are
and
for
worse.
different reasons afterwards, but
Yes,
because before your symptoms are because you're getting sicker and sicker. After your symptoms are because your body is healing. Your body is
yes,
detoxing. It's
yeah,
different. You have to
yeah,
realize, like, you're gonna go through these waves. I've been through 3 detox waves so far, and each one, the first one was a month long, the second one was 2 months long, and I'm just finishing my third one, which was about a month long. And
yeah,
after each detox wave, I see less symptoms during my normal non-detoxing time. I see less symptoms, more things are going away. I feel better. I have more energy. My hair finally started growing back at the 6 to 7 month
good,
point, and the
very good.
texture is like healthier. It's not
Yes,
stringy like
yes,
it was.
mm-hmm. Yes,
Um, but during my detox waves, I get back like almost 50% of the symptoms that I had, and then I get new symptoms, like my back breaks out, or I get
yeah,
really stinky, or like just
yeah,
random new things eliminating themselves from my body. So
yeah.
you have to
The
kind
thing
of
is that
honestly,
the
you have to
body, what
kind of
it's trying to
embrace
do,
them. You have to embrace your detox.
Yeah,
Go
like
ahead,
what
sorry.
people don't understand with the detox is that what the body is doing is that the body is trying to make a space to take out the toxins. So in order for the body to do that, the body starts first, your heart start pumping faster. So you're gonna have palpitations, right? Sometimes. Then your liver starts working faster, and then you're gonna have the HERS, what is known as HERS. It's just like bringing all the symptoms of the body, trying to, release. So for the body to release, it has to work extra time, extra strength, extra potency to be able to, resolve the problem. So the body
Yes.
starts like it's opening like a heavier door, because I need to push this toxin out, and then it's gonna, cost me a huge time. It's gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna do it. And then you feel worse for some time, and then finally you start feeling better. So
Yes.
what type of detox you do? Like, tell us a little bit. Like, you go with a doctor, you go with a health coach, you go with a, so
Honestly,
the audience knows.
I don't really have like a lot of detox protocols. I kind of let my body just naturally do it on its own. I do help
Okay.
my body out with supplements, like turmeric, and I take some vitamins and other
Okay.
things. But for me, I drink a lot of water. I eat as
Okay.
healthy as I possibly can, and I
Okay.
let my body do what it needs to do. And I
Okay.
haven't had any issues yet. Like I said, I've had 3 large detox waves so far. So I know my body is doing what it needs to do.
Yeah, by itself. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I would see, I really have wanted to see like a natural doctor or something to kind of help me out along the way, but I
Yeah.
don't, personally, my insurance doesn't cover stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to work for a few years because of BII. So
Yeah.
that's not
I
really in my
understand.
budget at the moment. So
Correct. Yeah.
thankfully, my body is doing what it needs to do, and
Yeah,
I'm
the
feeling
body's
a lot
wise,
better.
and we need to give it a chance and keep on working on it. I've heard like saunas, and I recommend like a plant-based diet for when we're trying to detox, because our body is already taking a long time to process animal proteins. So we want to go with vegetable proteins. And if you have a certain specific issue, like some of us have, we need to detox. We need to go through those pathways. We need to get the right supplements to get heavy metals, mold out of our body. So medications are sometimes necessary. We need to detox. I recommend getting a functional medicine or a naturopathic medicine who have done it in the past with breast implant illness people. Otherwise, they won't know what to do. They will start playing with you, and they won't help you heal. So we're about to hit the 1 hour in our life. So before we get disconnected, I want to thank you, Carrie, for sharing with us everything.
Thank you.
And I seriously think that I admire you truly for what you have done. I admire every single woman who have gone through this or who are going through this and are taking their health in their hands, because that's what we need to do. We need to be responsible for our health. It doesn't matter what we decided in the past. We can always change and make the right decision for our health. So I thank you truly, like from the bottom of my heart, to be able to connect. I'm sure we're going to be more and more connected every time in this community of breast implant illness women who are advocating for wellness, who are advocating to the society to listen to us, to the FDA to please listen to us, to health insurance company to please listen to us, because what we have gone through by ourselves with no financial support it's not only the emotional struggle, the physical and health struggle, but the financial struggle that people don't realize we have to go through all these. And I admire you, because being a single mom, I'm a single mom too, so I know what it takes, I know how it feels, and I admire that you decide to be there for your kids and fight it and get those things out of your chest, just like Cada, my friend, says in her book. By the way, I want to say hi to everybody who connected. I want to really thank you for being here, supporting us. Please share this live with people you know, that even if you think they are not going to be benefited from this, they might know someone they can share it. And we can help people bring awareness with our symptoms. We can help other people know what might be going on with them. So with that, I want to say thank you. Good night to everybody who connected, to all your comments, and stay tuned. We're going to have another live on Monday around 10 a.m. Houston time with our coach Ati Lopez, and I want to announce it right now so people are tuned into it. And we're going to be having more and more live. We're going to have a live with an acupuncture doctor who actually suffered from breast implant illness, and she has healed from it, and she's helping tons of women around the U.S. to heal. So, ladies, thank you so much for connecting with us. Thank you so much, Carrie. You're wonderful.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We keep on in touch in this healing path and process that we know it's long, but we can heal.
We got it.
Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye, ladies. Hug.
Bye.
Bye-bye.